My name is Esperanza Lebron, and I'm a mom to 3 boys. I started writing about personal finance because I grew up not knowing anything about it. And in the process, I transformed my family's life. Now I've made it my life's mission to serve the Latinx community, to design a life they love, starting with their finances. I was 15 years old when I had my first son, Joshua, and 17 when I had Xavier. I didn't even have a high school diploma. And I remember one day just telling myself, it doesn't have to be like this. And so I wrote it down on a piece of paper, get a high school diploma. And then the second thing actually made me cry, and that was go to college. My sister, Crystal, she's always been a big part of my life. We were living together to try to make it work with the kids. So I was 21, got my high school diploma. There was like this internal fire that ignited inside of me. And my kids were like cheering me on. And that's when I knew that everything was possible. And so I just kept going to school. My sister and I did not have a good money mindset. We weren't even self-aware of everything that we were doing wrong because we didn't have a role model of what looked right. At church, Crystal and I took a 3-month class, and you learn the basics of financial independence. And we were like, holy cow, all right, let's budget. And it wasn't until Crystal's tire went out, and then we were like, this is why you have a savings account. I went on active duty orders in 2015, and I was making $50,000 a year, thinking that I won the lotto. Along with that came access to more credit card debt. And I didn't realize that I was sabotaging my own finances. I actually gained some self-awareness the day this incredible leader at work, one of my bosses, asked me, are you investing? And that question caught me so off guard. I felt guilty and shameful that I had just been so irresponsible with my money. When I started researching about investing, I found the F.I.R.E movement, and I realized they can do it, so can I. I met my husband, Joseph, in 2017. There was about $40,000 of credit card debt that I now had, but they weren't intimate numbers yet with us. And so when we got really intimate with it is when we created a zero-based budget. The zero-based budget is a budgeting method where you assign all of the income that comes into your household a job. So there's nothing left over for you to spend. And that's when I felt like I had control over the money. This is right in the beginning of our transition from the military to a civilian career. And I was able to get a 6-figure offer. So now that I had landed that extra cash that we had, I knew that that would accelerate our savings and our debt-free plan. So when we were Googling budget templates within the F.I.R.E movement, we just found a whole bunch of things that made us feel very restricted. So when we created our budget book, it was because we needed a space to add in for life and still be able to hit goals. It probably took us about 3 months of editing our budget. And what happened there is the shift of intentional spending was able to really flourish. My sister and I really started getting into the F.I.R.E movement. We couldn't completely relate because there weren't very many people that looked like us. Representation in the Latinx community was such a huge motivator. And so that's when we realized we were supposed to be able to show other Latinas and Latinos this new mindset of what's possible out there. Before all of this awareness, I used to tell myself things like, I'm just not really good with numbers. And so being able to start Latina Money Moms, being able to even advocate and negotiate a higher salary in the corporate world, it's opened up so many different things. I show my kids what's possible. It's kind of pushed them to think outside of the box and have that entrepreneurial drive. And it's also shown them how to be on a budget, and that a budget is if you want control of your money. I think it's so important for me to be financially transparent with them. I want them to know that when they leave my house, they're not going to have the same lifestyle unless they earn it. When we get emails or messages of how something so simple that we said had a lot of significant weight for someone, that's what pulls us back to keep showing up to the Latinx community. Financial freedom has really changed the dynamic of how my sons and I are connected, because they do remember me being that high school dropout or crossing that graduation stage, and now they see me earning 6 figures, doing well in my business, and it's incredible for them. I do believe that how you do money is how you do everything. So if you can be transparent in your money and raising your kids, that can change the way that they go on to earn money and save money for their own families when they get older. I really want all the 15-year-old Esperanzas out there to know that you don't have to be a statistic. This is completely possible for you to build a life that you love. And I really want you to think about what is the most impossible goal and go start working towards it.